episode of FML, and today we are back on the CLK55, and hopefully with some pumps that I ordered we can get it running today. If you like this sort of thing and you like seeing me go through the pain and suffering of my financial mistakes, be sure to hit the subscribe button below. Alright, now let's get to work. So I've already gone through, pulled the fuel pump out of here, I pulled the sending unit out over there, and we are going to go check out the new pumps that I got. Due to technical difficulties, I was unable to talk about what I was doing in these videos, so here I am. The things that I just sat down were the sending units. I am getting a used one from the junkyard for like 20 bucks. Now what I'm doing is checking the ground wire, and in retrospect, both wires are yellow, but they go into that connector to a red and black wire. So I didn't need to do this. I could have just looked at the connector, but I was too focused on that plug and not the whole situation. I also used masking tape to point out which wire was the negative in case a permanent marker came off the wire. And this is all for this tiny fuel pump with the hose coming out. The Mercedes used a dual pump design for this, and one pump picks up gas and fills up the canister, and then a main fuel pump picks it up from that canister and then takes it to the motor. And what ultimately happened was I got the part numbers off these fuel pumps and cross-referenced them to what other vehicles they came from, and turns out the big one, the main one in the canister, was from a 2000 BMW 540 or any E39 540, and then the little guy is actually a fuel pump from a 1990 Volkswagen Golf GTI. And they all have the exact same plugs on them, but for some reason the one I got from the parts store didn't have the exact same connectors as my plug-in, so I had to splice in the wires to it and put the little eyelet connectors on there and screw them on that way. It made installation a little more difficult because this fuel pump setup they have here goes in as a two-part setup. So first you put in the stainless steel part, and then you put in the main canister, then you hook everything up inside the fuel tank, and I was lucky enough to have a fuel tank full of gas. When we took the fuel pump out of the car, we just kind of ripped everything out real quick, and we didn't really pay attention to how it all goes back together. So we are trying to figure out how we got it apart and how to connect it, and our wires are just a little too short. Next time, if I ever do this again, I'm going to have extensions on there to make my life a little bit easier. But we got it all together and everything works the way it should. I will leave part numbers and what vehicles they came from, so you guys can look this stuff up on your own if you are working on a CLK55 AMG like I am. So good luck, and here's the car starting. And there you have it. Fuel pump is installed into our CLK55 AMG. So we are like 3 or 4 days later now, and I have been driving it to make sure everything's good to go. The first thing I want to say, these tires are not wide enough for the amount of power that this car puts out. I don't know if Mercedes was wanting to make it a burnout machine, but that is what they have created. So let's go for a ride. Driving the Mercedes CLK55 AMG. I forgot my windshield mount, so I'm going to hold the camera while I do this. First driving impressions are that it drives pretty good. I was not suspecting this with a $1,000 car. I was waiting for tie rod ends to be bad and ball joints and this and that, and everything seems to be great. The other thing that I was suspecting would be real bad are the brakes, particularly the front, because the rotors look old, but the rear ones look new, and judging by the Carfax, we noticed that the brakes had been serviced and that the rears have been replaced. As for acceleration, the car does pretty good for itself, but like I said before, those wheels in the back are really narrow, and it's just too much power going to too small tire. Doesn't work out, so here we go. new car?
Yeah.
Is it slow?
That you should put a sticker on it.
What kind of sticker?
Make the picture say FML.
That's a good idea. On that note, we will be launching our new stickers and everything, and I'm going to be doing giveaways. I haven't been real happy with the quality of stuff that I've gotten from our previous store, so I'm going to be making all my own stuff. So stay tuned for that. Burnout and the CLK55 AMG. I think we could do better. Let's turn to manual mode. Do it again. There we go. So after some high revving burnouts, I remember something from Legit Street Cars, who also is an avid Mercedes driver, and him doing burnouts in there ruined the power steering pump, and I'm pretty sure I just did the same thing. So let's go see if we can order a power steering pump for this, because I'm pretty sure I messed it up. And if you're not watching him, you should, because he's got the supercharged Mercedes that I want, an E55 AMG, which I may or may not have anytime soon. As for codes, the car runs and idles good. It feels like there's a bit of a misfire on this thing, so this may be due for a complete tune-up. And on this car, I am just going to go ahead and change all the coil packs, plugs, and wires. As for codes, we have an airbag light on. When I had that plugged into the scanner, that showed a passenger side seat mat. No check engine light. I'm gonna figure out how to reset that, and that's where we are with that. As for stuff not working in this car, our shade doesn't work. The heated seats on this side don't work, but they do on the passenger side. Glove box is still broken. I haven't looked at it yet. They are expensive on eBay for replacement, so maybe I just have a broken clip somewhere and I can replace it. Glove box I just have laying here. It kind of looks like these tabs just poke in there and I can pop this back in and that should be good to go, but I am missing a cover right here, and I assume it's going to be the same silver as this. Well, there you have it. $1,000 Mercedes CLK55 AMG. I have $200 in towing it, $300 in parts and labor, and that's all I've stuck into this car. I would say that's a win. Not necessarily a financial mistake, but this could easily become a huge financial mistake. Even though going into this, there was always a part out in the back of my mind. So, on that note, thanks guys for watching, and remember to keep making financial mistakes.
That was one funny video.
Say, remember, keep making financial mistakes. Say it.